Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We have some more breaking news coming out of Ann Arbor today as Michigan lands their second commitment of the day, third in the last 2 days, in safety. Jaden Mangham coming over from Michigan State, and Coach Morgan's starting to get it rolling. And frankly, we read the comment section, we read Twitter, we read the message boards. It did seem like Michigan fans were starting to get a little bit impatient, frankly, in terms of what Michigan was doing in the portal, but in the last couple of days, obviously started to heat it up. And I think adding guys in the spots that, at least in my perspective, and I'm sure a lot of other Michigan fans' perspective, probably needed a little bit more depth. Because you look, obviously, you lose Rod Moore for what probably is going to be the year. Hopefully, apparently, if they make it deep enough in the playoffs, he might be back. But you lose him, obviously, for, let's just assume, the year. You obviously lose DJ Waller to the portal. And you just kind of wanted a little bit more depth and experience into that unit. And I think they did that. And then with Jaden Mangham, you probably add more than just depth. I think you add more of that high-end talent. So I think Michigan's done a really good job doing what they need to do, addressing the positions they need to address in the portal. And, I think they're reloading this team up for another run. So, again, before we get too deep into the player that Jaden Mangham is and what he brings to Michigan, just wanted to thank all the Michigan fans for all the support, all the engagement. Michigan's been working us hard the past couple of days, obviously landing a lot of guys and us wanting to get on and talk about it and give our opinions, but we love it. There's nothing better than interacting with Michigan fans in the comment section. Obviously, huge Michigan fans ourselves. And so we just want to thank everyone for the support. You guys have been awesome. So if you do consider, or if you do enjoy the content, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, all that engagement and interaction. It really does help us out a ton, and it means a lot to us for sure. So, again, thank you guys all. And getting into what Jaden Mangham brings, I think the big thing is he seems to complement Makari Page in the way you want to have been able to complement Makari Page, the way Rod Moore was able to do it. Just being able to be more of that free safety. And that's not to say Makari Page isn't versatile, can't play in space and be that rangy safety in the back end. When Makari Page is at his best, it is typically, or it's felt like, playing in the box, being able to go man-to-man on tight ends and be able to shut that position down like he was able to do against Penn State, who obviously had a couple pro tight ends in their room. And Jaden Mangham allows him to play that role and do what he does best, frankly, which is play that deep safety, free safety, really rangy player, all Big Ten player last year, honorable mention, and had 4 interceptions, which I think is the key thing. As you look, Michigan's ability to get their hands on balls, be able to be in the correct position all the time, it felt like, especially last year. Having a guy like Mangham who's played so much football and really does understand how to play that position and play it very versatilely, I think is huge. And that's not to say just because he's a free safety specialist, if you will, and us watching the tape seems like that's where he's most comfortable. He's also a guy who can really tackle at a high level. And that's another thing when you think Michigan football in 2023, when they won a national title, you think that ability to tackle. I mean, you watch them against Washington in space, making plays on really, really good players, a bunch of pros on Washington's pass catcher unit. Michigan just tackled everybody. They don't miss a ton of tackles. And you look at what Jaden Mangham can do. He's a really, really good tackler in space. So, again, I think very much a perfect complement to what Makari Page does and his ability to play that free safety role, but also that ability to tackle, which is just, I mean, that's a prerequisite to play at Michigan. So I think he really does fit the system well. And I think the one thing that Jaden Mangham probably adds that maybe Wesley Walker and Amir Hall didn't quite add is that like real top-end talent. Not to say Wesley Walker and Amir Hall, like they're really, really good players, but Jaden Mangham, again, a little bit younger than both those guys, when he was at his best last year, was playing like that, like more of an NFL player, more of that thing that I think Michigan was going to be missing maybe a little bit with having lost Rod Moore. So I think you're able to replace that. Some of that production that Rod Moore is going to have or would have been able to provide this year for Michigan, but also a guy who, frankly, is a little bit younger than obviously Wesley Walker and Amir Hall, who are both grad transfers. I think you look, Jaden Mangham will have 2 years of eligibility left. So to me, he does provide a little bit more of that like kind of refilling the pipeline, if you will, even of Michigan football and having guys you can develop more in the program, which I think is big. I think, again, you want transfers. I don't think you want to be a reliant transfer team like obviously teams like Ole Miss who really hit the portal hard. And again, they bring in a lot of talent, but they also lose talent. You've seen Michigan really do a good job of adding portal guys where you need it, bringing guys like Jason Barham, Jaden Mangham, obviously some of the other portal additions they've made, but really do a good job of keeping the roster together. And I think that's going to be an increasingly important component of winning in a more sustained way, in the way that Brian Kelly kind of mentioned in his press conference, I feel like, or interview, I should say, that people are beating him up for. So I think, again, you look at the way Michigan's building, I really, really like it. It's not this go out and try to grab a zillion transfers and turn your roster over every year. It shouldn't be. When you develop the way Michigan does, you recruit the high school the way Michigan does. So I really, really like that. I've really liked what they've done in the portal in this spring. And Jaden Mangham, I think, is probably that. I mean, he'll be that big-time winner in the portal for me, for Michigan, and what they did in the spring cycle. So, again, thank you guys all for watching. Really, really enjoy talking about it, and we'll catch you later. See ya.